Hi everyone, Kelly here. Today's wire weaving pattern tutorial is on the basket weave. So I'm going to show you how to do this weave and a few variations. If you're curious, I'm using 2 pieces of 20 gauge copper wire for my base wires and a piece of 28 gauge copper wire for the weaving wire. So to begin, we are going to go ahead and get our weaving wire attached to the first base wire. I'm just going to wrap around 1, 2, or 3 times. I'll go with 3. And then the other base wire we're going to go ahead and put on top. Now I'm going to start this closed because I do want you to be able to see the difference. I have a few pieces already made out here. If your base wires are close together, this is the look that you're going to get, and as they start to spread out, you'll see more of that kind of basket weave come to life. Okay, so this is really actually a nice, simple, easy pattern. After we've connected, the wire is between the two. I'm going to go around the top wire, 1 full coil around, and as I come around on the second one, I'm going to cross over by going between and under the bottom wire. I go around 1 full coil around the bottom wire, come around again, but this time I'm going to switch over to the other side, going between the wires and coming under the top wire. 1 full coil around. So I'm doing that full coil to ensure that I am attached to the wire completely before going to the other side. As opposed, so I'm going to push these together before I go on to the next part. So you can see this is what we got. So it doesn't, I mean, it's cool looking, but it really, you can't see a lot of the weave yet. I find that a lot of us use the basket weave when our wires, when we want to separate them so that you can actually see how the weaves crisscross like a basket. This might be a good time to also just demonstrate the importance of getting that full coil around each of the base wires before crossing over to the other side, as opposed to doing it this way, which I've done before, but I probably won't do it this way anymore, and I'll tell you why. So instead of coiling around the base wire completely, you could just go around and crisscross over, around and crisscross over, around and crisscross over, which is going to give you the same basket weave effect. So if you're choosing to do your basket weave this way and not attaching fully to that base wire before crossing over, this is what you're going to get. I did this real quick before filming, and I want to give you a comparison here. This is a basket weave where I've coiled 1 time fully around, just like I demonstrated before crossing over, and this one I have not. So it tends to get a little messy because your base wires are going to be able to move, and once they move, then you're going to create space between the weaving wire and the base wire, and it's going to start to look messy, and there's really no way you can fix it after that. You can't go in and kind of pull them apart. I've tried everything to fix weaves that I've done this way, so I wouldn't recommend it, I mean, unless it's a look that you're going for, but I would recommend doing it the other way. I think it turns out into a much nicer and stable weave. All right, now if you want your wires to begin to splay apart, I'm just going to start to bend these apart. And then just keep going with your weave. So I'm crossing over. I'm going to do a few rotations here, just on camera so you can watch. And as the base wires get further and further apart, you'll be able to see more of that crossover wire. Which is beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of uses for the basket weave. I see it used a lot on bales. Stay on camera. I'm getting the idea now. I've already have one done, so I just continued with this pattern. Now, as your base wires become further apart, the correct amount of wire tension becomes crucial into making sure this weave turns out properly. So what I mean by that is if you have too much tension the entire time you're doing this weave, you could end up pulling your base wires closer together. And so inconsistencies in the spacing of the wires are going to make the weave look very messy. It's going to, oops, I'm sorry for bumping. It's going to take on some of the things we saw in this one, where if the base wire bends, then we create space between the weaving wire and the base wire, which doesn't look great. So I want to try to explain something a little bit differently and kind of walk you through what I'm feeling when I'm weaving, because I've taught a lot of people, and I've been able, fortunately, to do that in person, and just notice some people are very aggressive with the wire, others are too loose, and it takes some time to find the correct amount of tension. And so when I'm doing this weave, I'm applying tension right here, and not a whole lot, but there's tension coming through my body, through my hand, and kind of making sure that that weave gets nice and straight. And then I relax my hand completely. Grab the weave, it's already in place, it's straight, it's not gonna, kink up after I've straightened it. Go around the wire, I'm still relaxed, and then when I choke up here, this is where I apply the tension. I'm pulling tight. I'm not pulling the two wires closer together. I'm only applying enough tension to get that coil tight around the base wire, and then relax. And then I'm going to smooth it out, little tension there as I come to the underside. No tension, it's where I want it to be. There's a tiny bit of tension, I guess, pushing it where I need it to be, kind of locking it in place. And then I'll get the coil going. I'm still very relaxed in my hands. And then as I coil it around, I'm using this hand to pull and my thumb to guide that coil around. So tension here, a little tension just to smooth the wire, place it, relax and go around the wire, coil, 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 pull tight around. So I don't know if I've never seen anyone kind of explain it that way, but after watching so many people kind of struggle with that tension, I just wanted to explain it in a little different way. You can let me know if that was helpful or not. I hope it was. Okay, there's one more variation I want to go over with you, and that is when you want to use multiple base wires. Whatever wires you have in between your two outside wires, you're going to alternate going over and under them. So if I have 3 wires, I'm going to do everything the same. I'm going to go around once, around twice, all the way, and then I'm going to go over the top and under the top wire. Now the next one is going to go under this wire. It won't cross over the top. So like every other one, if you can see from the previous ones, they alternate as they go back and forth. So now that I'm on this side, I go ahead and I do my 1 rotation, 2 rotation, and now I go under the middle wire over to the other side. Go around once, go around twice, and now I alternate and I go over the top of the middle wire and then under and around. All right, kind of get the idea, I hope. So this is what you end up with. I hope this tutorial was helpful and informative, because that's what I intend them to be. If you have any questions, something I didn't cover, or something that was confusing, please feel empowered to leave your questions in the comments below, because I will answer them. Also, if you want to practice this basket weave, I do have a tutorial. I'm going to post it right here. It's called the Waning Crescent moon ring, and it does have a basket weave in it. It'll give you practice in taking your wires apart and then bringing them closer together. In this tutorial, I also cover the technique of wrapping around a curve using this basket weave. So I would recommend trying out that ring tutorial, and then coming this Monday I will be releasing another tutorial and a new design, but it will also include a basket weave. So please enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.